Welcome back. I am exhausted. I've been traveling since 4 this morning. I had to get up really early in a hotel room in Denver, Colorado to make it to the airport for a flight that got delayed 3 hours, to get to Boise, to drive multiple hours back to here. I literally 12 hours traveling today. I went to go see Metallica with my brother in Denver and it was awesome. But I still have to do my videos for the channel, and something that I've been thinking about quite a bit lately, well, ever since Redacted Arms LLC sent me this. This is the Hoffman Tactical Super Safety. This one by Redacted Arms. I think that this is more than just a product. This design represents freedom in a very big way. While we kind of wait to see what happens here with the Hearing Protection Act and the Short Act. You know, I actually filmed a video about this that was going to come out on Sunday, but it had a lot to do with those two things as well. And as you guys probably know, things have been changing rapidly. So while we're waiting to see what comes of all that, I want to talk about the Super Safety and include the FRT Force Reset trigger at the same time, because these are not regulated by the NFA. And they give us pretty much the exact same capability as something that is regulated by the NFA, and not only is regulated by the NFA, but that there is like no new supply of after 1986. You know what I'm talking about. So it is really difficult. It's not difficult. You just have to have a lot of money if you want to get a machine gun, a transferable pre-86 machine gun. They're expensive because, again, supply and demand. And the demand is ever increasing, but the supply stays the same, unfortunately. Well, to give Rare Breed credit, Lawrence DeMonico, they fought the ATF for like 2 years when the ATF said that force reset triggers were machine guns. And now, force reset triggers are not machine guns. They never were. And I'll show you exactly how this works in a minute. Because it's a very, very simple concept, but it is a semi-automatic trigger. Legally, it's a semi-automatic trigger. You know, definitions do matter, and the statutory definition of a machine gun is single function of the trigger, multiple rounds. And that is not what happens here, although it does fire just as fast. And so that's what I mean. I think that this represents a new freedom that we have in America, and I think it's kind of a big deal. In fact, of all of the new stuff that I've gotten lately, and I've got a lot of new stuff to show you guys on the channel, I think this one excites me the most. And it's because of what it represents to me. It represents the common man, every gun owner, being able to get a capability that for a long time has been reserved only for the very wealthy. And I think that that's important. The whole thing with the NFA is, you know, the $200 tax stamp and all that. Well, at the time, $200 was prohibitively expensive. So the whole point of the NFA was literally keep the guns out of the hands of the poors. And, you know, as time has gone on, $200 is not as much to us anymore with inflation. This video is not quite about the NFA. We're dealing with that right now. But the thing is that full autos, machine guns, are still prohibitively expensive because, again, of that supply and demand. The thing is, though, is now that you can get force reset triggers and super safeties, it is all of a sudden not prohibitively expensive to have that same capability, which I think is really, really important, to be quite honest. I think that every American citizen should have the same rights and the same access to the same firepower as the military. Honestly, that's what the Second Amendment was all about, but also as each other. Something like this shouldn't be reserved only for people that have a lot of money. And this video is sponsored by Aura. In the same way that a super safety gives you the same capability as something that is much more expensive and kind of harder to come by, well, Aura does the same thing for your online security. For only $12 a month, they give you all of your online security, all of the different things that you might buy individually, different products and services that would each cost a bunch of money if you add it all up. Well, Aura does it all for just 12 bucks a month, but you can try it out absolutely free for 2 weeks with my link, aura.com/sawtooth-tactical. The biggest thing that they do, in my opinion, is the data broker removal part, where they scour the internet and the dark web, and they find anywhere where your data has been leaked and is being sold to scammers and spammers by data brokers, and they submit professional opt-out requests on your behalf, and then your information's not out there anymore. You stop getting scam calls, you stop getting spam calls. And they actually have scam call protection, but they also have a whole lot more as well. They also give you spam and junk mail removal, a VPN. They give you 3 bureau credit monitoring, antivirus software, home title monitoring, password manager. All of these things that really are pretty dang important these days if you're on the internet at all, but you get it all for just that $12 a month. The VPN is very important. You can browse the internet totally anonymously and safely and securely. That's a good thing. And you get all that, like there's a lot of these companies that advertise on YouTube and it's just a VPN. Well, you get a VPN with Aura, but you get data broker removal as well. And you get you get all your stuff for 12 bucks a month. Try it out though, absolutely free for 2 weeks at aura.com/sawtooth-tactical. Force reset triggers and super safeties have definitely made things like binary triggers, that's the Fostech Echo trigger, and bump stocks obsolete, honestly. So I've had this binary trigger for a long time. It's been in this rifle since I got this rifle. This was the second AR I ever got, and I got it because I wanted a binary trigger. This was a long time ago, before I really knew any better. And the whole reason behind that is that, I wanted something as close as I could get to that full auto rate of fire. And you can get, your cadence down pretty well with the binary trigger and get it going pretty fast. But it is not the same as this, I will tell you that. I've only had the chance to shoot this once so far with this in it, and it wasn't even really tuned right. I think I do have it tuned right now. But the difference is amazing. Because I had it, it was kind of slipping out of position, so I was paying attention to my thumb, holding it in super safe mode instead of my stance. Like, it actually knocked me back a little bit because I wasn't paying enough attention to it. That's never happened with the binary trigger because when each round is coming in, you can only shoot your finger so fast. Well, this thing is pretty amazing. So, 3 positions. So, safe. It does have a push button safety. That's the only thing about the super safety. You lose your regular, safety selector like you have on a normal AR. The 3 position force reset triggers, you don't lose that. But again, those are, $500. These are like $100. So you have safe. If you push it all the way through, I'm going to drop the mag here. Then you have semi-auto, fire, trigger resets, fire, right? If you put it in the middle, now we'll see if you can watch this. Try to get this sling out of the way here. Fire. I don't know if you can see. Every time the bolt goes to the rear, my finger, the trigger is reset forward. And as the bolt goes back into battery, it allows you to fire again. So it is 100% semi-auto, according to the definition of semi-automatic. But it lets you shoot semi-automatic as fast as your gun will cycle. And that's really, really cool. Now, is it the most effective way to use a semi-automatic AR? Probably not. I'm not on like some kind of firing team where we're trying to, lay down suppressive fire or whatever. It's a great way to waste a lot of ammo, but it's a lot of fun. That's not really the point though. Just because you can probably be more effective with a Geisley trigger and semi-automatic and doing accurate single shots doesn't mean that we shouldn't have access to this if we want it. That's the way the Second Amendment was written. Shall not be infringed. It was literally designed so that the people had the power, because of weapons, to, go up against the government if they had to. The government isn't supposed to have a kind of firepower that we're not allowed to have. And so if there's anything that I've seen come out in the last, long time that embodies what the Second Amendment means, is the super safety. You can afford a super safety. A super safety costs less than a Geisley trigger. And people are putting Geisleys in most of their builds. At least I am. You probably, I don't know you. Maybe you can afford, a transferable pre-86. I can't really. I've got a family to take care of. I could probably sell a bunch of these and go, and that's not the point though. The point is, for the cost of a good trigger, you can have that 3-position capability. It is legally semi-automatic, but it does give you the same capability as an FA, as an MG, if you know what I mean. And I think that that's really important to the Second Amendment. Like I said at the beginning of this video, I am exhausted, and this is all I've got for you today because my brain, not 100% on. I got like 3 hours of sleep last night. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a like. Make sure you subscribe to Sawtooth Tactical. Let me know down in the comments if you agree with me and whether you like a forced reset trigger or a super safety better, because people seem to really prefer one or the other. So I want to know from you guys. Personally, I don't have a forced reset trigger. The only one I have experience with is this super safety, but I freaking love it. From Sawtooth Tactical, there will be a full real video coming on this. Range video, testing it, all that. That is coming. I've just got some other things in front of it, but I think maybe the week after next will be super safety. So stay tuned for that. This should be a good one. From Sawtooth Tactical, stay strapped or get clapped.